Welcome to part 3 of our virtual orientation. I'm here with Claire.
Hi, I'm Claire. I'm born and raised in Denver. I'm also an alum of Denver. I actually served last year, so the 2017-2018 core year. And right now, I'm the site operations coordinator for City Year Denver. Nice to meet you.
What school did you serve in?
I served at Valverde Elementary.
Yeah,
I did
we're
K
not
through
there
5.
anymore, but
Yeah.
And you worked with all K through 5.
I did a lot of Spanish classes for K through 5 during math intervention. So.
And that's what your degree is in, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about benefits, relocating, and housing. This was covered in your interview and the pre-interview document, but we just want to highlight it again because it is a lot of important information. So the stipend that you get every 2 weeks is pre-tax, so that means whatever you select on your W-4, they'll take a little bit of taxes out, so you can decide if that's a lot or a little. It should be around $600, but that just depends on the person. But do know that the taxes will come out of that. And then at the end of your service, you do earn an education award. That's $6,000 to put towards any form of higher education. You can use that to pay back student loans. You can use that for your undergraduate or graduate degree. There's other ways to use it. Some people have used it with universities and sort of put it towards study abroad. And I used mine with NOLS, National Outdoor Leadership School. So I enrolled in technically a university and then worked with NOLS to do that. So I backpacked in Tanzania with a team and did leadership classes. So there's some creative ways to use that education award if you ever have questions. And then you can put your student loans into deferment when you're serving. There's some information on that on the website. It's through AmeriCorps, not through City Year, so I don't have much more info than what's on the website, but look through that. Once you start serving, then you can put them in deferment so that you don't have to make payments on that while you're serving. And then at the end of your year of service, you can ask that the interest that's accrued be paid by the Corporation for National and Community Service. That's another benefit too. If applicable, we do provide a child care allowance, and then we do provide health insurance. So that's free for everybody. You can waive that if you have your own health insurance. That's totally fine, but otherwise it's totally free. We provide basic health insurance. There's no vision or dental. And then the EAP, so the Employee Assistance Program, this is actually pretty cool. A lot of big organizations have these. So the EAP is like a third party that City Year pays, and then they can provide just services, counseling, advice. They provide even just basic professional training. I went to one of those recently about time management and just general scheduling things. And then they provide counseling services. So if you're struggling with mental health and feel like you need to talk to somebody, the EAP can set you up with someone for free. They can also provide financial counseling if you're worried about that, or if you feel like you're not comfortable talking about something personal with like a supervisor, you can talk to someone at the EAP and get advice on that. So that is a pretty cool program that you'll learn more about once you get here. The uniform, since this is our 30th anniversary, we have a brand new uniform. Black pants, you need to provide your own black pants, and we might be able to provide black Converse shoes. We're not sure. For the 30th anniversary, Converse donated black shoes, but as of right now, you should plan on providing your own colored black shoes. You'll get more info on the uniform later, but we provide all the shirts, jackets, actually us, it's Claire and me, all the shirts and jackets and everything that you'll need for your uniform, so you don't have to pay for any of that. And then you are eligible while you're serving for food benefits, so SNAP food stamps. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits while you're serving. I didn't eat out very often when I was serving as a corps member. I did a lot of meal prep, and that was possible because I had almost $200 to put towards groceries every month. So that's a great benefit, and we'll give you more information on how to get those at registration. All right, so LACY is Leadership After City Year or Life After City Year. There's also STACY, which both of us did, which is Staying City Year. But we know that this is a 1 year or maybe a 2 year commitment for people, and we want to make sure that we're there to support you in making career choices and being prepared for the workforce after this, regardless of whether you want to go into education or not. We have a lot of community partners that we'll talk about. So your LACY plan is something that you'll work on throughout the year with your manager. We also have a lot of panels and workshops and career fairs and university partnerships. Do you want to talk about any that you went to or that we've had this year?
Yeah, one really cool one that we do every single year is the career fair, which happens around January, February. So we're preparing for one now. And it's exactly what it sounds like. So Rigash's career fair that we host offsite, and there's tons of companies there. So we have some corporate sponsors come in. One that I remember that was really cool was Deloitte was there, DeVita was there, PCG, I think they're called.
Yeah.
I think was there, and there's a bunch of educational opportunities as well, and other nonprofits as well. So like I think Peace Corps was there 1 year, and pretty much you just go around, and like talk to them about like what are your opportunities afterwards. And a lot of them are employers of national service, so they will actually like consider you first over other applicants when you apply.
Yeah, and thanks for highlighting employers of national service, because that's on the website too, and that's a really great networking opportunity as well. And then there are a lot of, like I said, university partnerships throughout the country. Since we have 29 sites now, we've built relationships with a lot of different universities, and they'll either match your education award or give additional scholarships, or if you're an alumni, they'll have separate funding available. For example, Oklahoma State, OSU, has 20 spots a year in any department that you can get a full ride for your master's degree, which is incredible. That one's not limited by department. So OSU is one of our big partners. There's some really cool programs in DC. Those are a little more specific, but you can look at those. They'll give full rides for, I think, one for social work maybe, and another for the education school. So check out the website for that, because there's universities all over the country that have different match programs. Because Sevier has been around 30 years, we have over 25,000 alumni, and you have access to that network. It's a little overwhelming, but it's true. So if there's somebody that you want to talk to, you can reach out to them. And then Denver's mentorship program is actually pretty unique because of the way that we've built it out. So Claire will talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so as Brenna said, we're like a pretty unique site in which all of our 70 core members or 75 core members gets matched up with their own mentor. And these mentors come from like all over the place. Like some of them are like educational like chancellors from universities. Some of them are like VPs. Some of them are people who start their own companies. Some of them are in the military. Some of them are like doctors. I don't know who matched me up with my mentor in my service here, but she was like a lot like me. She was really cool. She was at TIAA, and she just gave me a lot of like life advice and professional and personal development advice. And we met, I think, once a month and just went to dinner and coffee. Yeah.
And you can keep those relationships even after your year. So you still meet with her at her?
It's been a couple months since I last. It's been a busy couple months.
Yeah. Okay, but it's not limited to just for the year. That's somebody that understands what our service is like, even if they're not an alum. And so they're able to be kind of a part of the city or community, but a little more removed to give you that support and advice. So, all right, relocation and budgeting. So this is a little bit different for Claire since she's from here and served here, but I am also from Colorado, and I relocated to serve my core year in Boston, so I can answer questions about that. Another impact manager and I sat down and did these budgets. They're not meant to be scary. We aimed really high. So if there's a number here that is a little bit flexible, we round it up just in case. So this isn't, like I said, meant to scare you. It's just something to think about ahead of time, knowing that, like, you know, there might not be an application fee, but there could be. Frequently for apartments, there's more likely to be a fee than there are on houses. So something to think about. And also know that when you do sign a lease, you'll probably need to put down your first month's rent and a security deposit. So it's just important to prepare ahead of time for those things. And also, like, you might need furniture. Transferring utilities, when I did that, it was only $8. Like I said, we rounded up. So just important to think about some of these things ahead of time. Likely you won't need to make loan payments, student loan payments, but it depends when you graduated. Usually you should have around 6 months that you don't have to pay on those yet. So you can wait until that kicks in to sign up for loan forbearance. And then here's a sample budget. Rent here is around $650. You can find it for a little bit cheaper. Some people pay a little bit more. Obviously, that's not the average for the city, but core members are able, as long as you start researching ahead of time, to find cheaper options. So we just did an average of around $650. And the more roommates you have, the cheaper things like cable and internet will be. So that's something to consider as well. But again, we aimed high on a lot of these estimates. So, and then the food stamps, you can get groceries for you get usually around $200 a month. So that's a huge benefit. Thinking about gas for your car, there is another budget that's a little more specific on the website. You can check that out, but we wanted to give you a rough idea. So. And then transportation. So this is our map for the light rail. Our light rail is a little bit different in that it's not really built to get you around the city. It's more of a commuter rail, so it gets you in and out of the suburbs and the city generally. We did just get the train to the airport though within the last couple of years, so that's been very exciting. But Claire can talk a little bit more about transportation.
Yeah, so as a core member, every month you are eligible to get an RTD transit pass. RTD is Regional Transportation District. And the transit pass will actually give you access to every single transportation service except for like the airport shuttle, and that's it. But you'll be able to ride the entire light rail system and the bus system. And like Brenna said, like a lot of people like use a mixture of both because the light rail might not get you where you need to be. I personally did the same thing as well during my core year. So I went all the way from Lincoln Station, which is like the most south one, all the way up to Alameda. And then I took a bus for like 5 minutes to get to my school, Valverde, which is on Alameda. And then I had a bunch of colleagues and teammates who did the same thing as well. So that's a thing that you would just request every month if you need it. Like say you come here without a car, which some people, you know, do. So like you would just request that and it actually goes to me and I would give you the pass.
Yes. Core members that do have cars recommend bringing it and driving, but we also have a lot of people that don't. So you'll depend most likely on bus, but you can look at the light rail when you are looking at housing if that's something you want to use. The bus system here is pretty extensive, but it isn't. It's not as expensive as some of the bigger cities, like where I served in Boston. So they can be late sometimes, and you might want to build that into your commute. It's just something to research ahead of time and be aware of. People are sometimes surprised because Denver's population is growing so quickly. Our public transportation system hasn't really kept up with that level of growth. So something to look into. We are a super bike-friendly city, though, so if you are into biking, a lot of people choose that to commute as well. There's a lot of bike paths. One of them runs right through the middle of the city along a river so that you're not right on the road. So biking is also a good option. Denver's still known for having over 300 days of sunshine. So even today, it's a little chilly. It's winter. It's February right now, but it's bright and sunny and not raining. So you could easily ride a bike today. Housing, just a quick reminder that you don't have to live with other core members. You can live with your family, you can live with people that aren't serving in city year, and you can live with other core members. So we're just going to talk about neighborhoods briefly. I did focus a little bit on that in the part 2 of the virtual orientation, but we can always talk about it more. So just as a reminder, you can see where our schools are. They're color-coded to those neighborhoods. And if you look over here on the left side, that's the west side. You can see some of the places I mentioned broken down in more detail, like the Highlands are broken up into Berkeley and Sunnyside. We have a lot of core members that live in Sunnyside and the Highlands and Lohi. I live in Berkeley, and I love it because it's really easy to get downtown from there. And that's near North Skinner Lake and Trevista. So that's popular. Also, Sloan's Lake Middle School is on Sloan's Lake. So Sloan's Lake is probably our most popular and best neighborhood right now. It is gentrifying, but right now you can find some cheaper rent there. And then West Colfax as well. West Colfax is, I'd say, probably doesn't have as many like shops and restaurants and things. So just research ahead of time, but some people have lived there too. And then if you look below all of that, you can see Athmore Park near Valverde, where Claire was. So some people have lived there. That's a lot more residential. There's not as many, again, shops and restaurants. And then that is also near Baker, Spear, and Capitol Hill. Also Wash Park. We don't have too many people in Wash Park, but that's a nice area if you wanted to look there as well. But Baker, Spear, and Cap Hill are good. Also 5 Points because it's central and close to the office. 5 Points is very much developing and gentrifying. That's something to be aware of. So those are all some central options, but usually a little more expensive. And then if you look on the right side, the east side, we've had people live in Park Hill, again, gentrifying, but a pretty good location. Hale is very popular and usually much cheaper. And then Washington, Virginia Vale is also really popular. So you can find more info on those on the website, but we just want to highlight them and give you a chance to kind of look at it on the map. Anything else, Claire?
Yeah, well, personally, my teammates came from all over the place, so I don't think there's quite like anything that was like recommended, like that I heard like was recommended against. So I had one teammate who was all the way in Lakewood, which is not even on this map. Mm-hmm. I had one person who bused in from North Park Hill. I had one person who was actually super close to the office, like walking distance. And the office is in Capitol Hill. It's like the super tiny one underneath 5 Points. And then I guess this year, one trend that I'm noticing is a lot of people are living next to Cheeseman Park.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. If you can find options there, that's a really good place.
They really like it, so.
Yeah. People ask every year about Lakewood because it is cheaper, and so if you have a car, it might be good, or if you're close to a light rail station. We do take your housing into account when we look at school placements, so we would try to make sure that maybe you're at Compass or Johnson, a school near there, but we can't guarantee that. So I don't really recommend Lakewood, but people have lived there, so it is possible. We've also had people live, if you look at the bottom right corner, in Hamden, and on the flip side, they haven't had a very good experience, so they don't recommend that. You can, but that's probably the only one where people have really told me, like, this was not where I wanted to be. So that's just my advice there. But that should conclude this section of the orientation. So thanks for joining us, Claire.
Yeah, you're welcome.